Okay, great. So go ahead and use a pillow or a block, anything you've got, place underneath your hips. And just take an easy seat here. We'll come into Sukhasana. You can just bring the palms down across the knees. And just gonna take a few breaths to settle in here. And just allow the eyes to close. Just bring palms to face down if they're not already there, and just take a few minutes here, or a few rounds of breath, just to get grounded. Just make your way onto your mat, whether you're just waking up or if you've been running around doing a few things around the house this morning. Just kind of letting go of everything that's been going on. I'm sure everyone's going through some to-do lists and spring cleaning while we're all closed in at home. So just kind of letting go of all of that for now. Just taking this time just for yourself. Just bring your awareness to your breath. Just notice if your breath is feeling heavy or light. Notice where you're breathing into. So just noticing the natural rhythm, the rise and fall of the belly or the chest. Wherever it is you naturally breathe into. Wherever you naturally breathe, just make them a little bit bigger. So just notice maybe even if you've been constricting the breath so there wasn't a lot of movement happening. So no matter where you breathe, whether it's the chest or the belly, make that a little bit bigger. Just allow for a little bit more natural movement. And then no matter where you've been breathing, let's all take the hands together to your bellies. And we'll all start to breathe into the same areas together. So take a few breaths into your belly. Just allow the belly to inflate into the palms. And then just exhale, softening through the belly. And breathe in. And exhale, soften. There's going to be a slight core engagement to keep ourselves upright, but no need to make any sort of extra engagement there. One more deep breath in. See if you can balloon out your belly even a little bit further. And then just let that go. And then we'll take the hands a little bit higher into the rib cage. And then see if you breathe the rib cage out sideways into your palms. And just changing the way we naturally breathe into the body. And just kind of making it a little bit more of an active connection to your breath. And then let's take the hands just over the collarbones, by your clavicules. And then just breathe in, almost like your spine, your shoulders can lengthen all the way up toward the ceiling. Not necessarily adding a back bend here, like you want to lift the heart, but just more of a sensation of just lengthening through the spine. And then from here, let's reach the arms all the way up overhead. You can allow your gaze to follow. And then interlace the hands, flip them up toward the ceiling. And then take a little side bend over to your right. Notice if your left hip lifted with you. Keep pressing it down. Deep breath into your left armpit. And then rise on up. And then take your side bend over to your left. Same thing. Keep hooking your right hip down. And then we'll rise on up. And then we'll take a seated cat-cow. So exhale as you round through the back. Think of pressing your palms forward, your belly button back. And then inhale as you reach the palms up. And exhale as you round. Yeah, keep that moving. There's a slight tilt forward of the pelvis here. Rock back behind the sitting bones. And then inhale as you press down through the sits bones, lengthen through the belly. Exhale as you round. Let's do one more like that. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale as you round. And then this time we'll lengthen up. And then draw your ribs back in. See if you can press your arms back a little bit more while keeping those palms or the ribs down. And then let's take a side bend all the way out to your right. Just take one breath in. And then exhale your palm down. Take your right hand just behind you to your sacral or maybe onto your mat. Deep breath in, lift the heart. And then exhale, use your belly button to spin the ribs around. And then we'll inhale back through center and just take that side bend out to your left. You get just one round of breath in here. Squeeze that arm up nice and long. And then exhale the palm around your thigh. And take the fingertips back behind you. Not a super deep twist yet. Breathe in. And then breathe out into your twist. Again, not using so much the pressure of your hands, but your own core muscles, the belly button to turn the ribs around. Nice, take one more round of breath here. And then we'll inhale as you sweep the arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands back behind you. Come high onto the fingertips so your thumbs face forward. Little lift of the heart, keep those bent elbows. And then press down through the fingertips to lengthen the arms as long as that feels okay with your back. Maybe even lifting the hips. And open the throat as long as that feels okay. And then we're going to exhale, lower the hips down. If you've got a block or something to hold on to, you can go ahead and grab that guy. And then nice long arms. You're going to hold this guy out in front of you. We are taking both pose. So rocking back behind the sits bones a bit. And then we're going to rotate your torso out to the right. Notice if your arms swung around, we're keeping the arms right in line with the shoulders. And then come back through center. And then take a rotation out to your left. And then back through center. And then back out. And then center. Take it to your left. And back through center. We're going to take it to your right. Hold here. We're going to lower your right leg down. And then lift it up. And then slowly tap. Maybe just your heel down. And then lift it back up. Little tap. And then back up. So it doesn't really matter if you're tapping here. You might just hold that time. Maybe finding some movement in that leg. So kind of using your core here to move your leg around. Let's go 3 more rounds of breath, whether you're holding or you're moving. And notice if you swung your arms around, see if you can keep that block right in line, square to your shoulders. Last one. We're going to come back through center. Exhale, take this to your left. Again, you might hold here. You might lower your left heel down and lift it back up. And then lower. And then lift. And lower. Lift. Let's go 3 more. Again, you might just lower a little bit. You might be holding. That's fine. Keep that lift through the collarbones. 1 more. Come back through center. And then from here, we're going to do a little lower and a lift. Lower and a lift. 3 more. Think of pressing something away with your big toes. And that block is just square right in front of the chest. 1 more. Whew. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of that guy. Go ahead and come through a seat, and we'll just meet on hands and knees. All right, and then we'll stretch those core muscles out. Press your palms right underneath the shoulders. And then double checking with your knees, make sure those guys are underneath of your hips. And then hide your feet behind the thighs. Take a breath in, lift your tailbone up, drop the ribs, lift your gaze. We're gonna hold here, so this should already feel pretty nice. And then press the palms down like you wanna slide them toward the knees. And you might even feel the knees sliding toward the hands. So just getting a little extra engagement through the belly and even the back muscles. Nice. Again, almost like you're trying to wrinkle your mat right in between the hands and the knees. Take one more round of breath here. Nice. Breathe in. And then exhale the chin into your chest, round through the back. Same thing, just take for a few rounds of breath to see how it feels. So breathe in, maybe even inflate through the back of the rib cage even more. And then take one more breath out, and then we'll inhale, come back into cow, and you might even get that pulling sensation with the palms still. And then exhale as you press the palms down, round through the back. And then just a few more. Feel free to add anything here that you like in your practice, whether you just like to bend the elbows while you're working through the spine, or if you want to kind of barrel roll the rib cage around. Or as you come into cow, you can peek over a shoulder and then the other. I mean, really anything goes here. If you want to take the palms forward a little bit, rock back toward a child pose, bringing the shoulders right over the fingertips, almost like an upward facing dog. Again, it might feel nice with the hips low here to peek over one shoulder and then the other. Again, a lot of us are just waking up right now. So just kind of getting moving, really just working to your own breath, your own body. Kind of seeing where you need to wake up. And then take like 3 more rounds of breath wherever you are. And then we'll go ahead and meet back in tabletop. We're going to do a little added wrist stretching this morning. So we'll start to just shift your weight over the fingertips and then just rock back. And then each time, see if you can bring your shoulders a little bit more forward past the fingertips, really waking up, not just the wrist, but even into the forearms. And then as you come forward, even see if you can lift those middle knuckles up, pressing your fingerprints down, almost like you want to wrinkle your mat right underneath the palms. So your fingertips are your brakes for your jump forwards and your arm balances. And then we'll wake up the wrist a little bit more. Keep your shoulders as far over the fingertips as you can. You're going to press down through the fingertips, lift your wrist off to a little tiny hover, and then tap them back down. And then lift to a little tiny hover, tap down. So little wrist push-ups, doesn't need to be that high. Just as long as you're elevating the bottom part of your palms off of your mat. So it's really going to start to strengthen all the way up into those forearms. Nice. And then even work that with the breath. Exhale as you lift the wrists and inhale as you lower down. Whew. Nice. Go through 3 more. Notice if your weight's backing up toward the heels, try and keep your shoulders over those wrists. Take 1 more and then lower the wrists all the way down. And then pivot your palms around so your fingertips are facing toward the sides of your mat. And then just sway the shoulders side to side. Okay, so that's just kind of changing the shape of the forearms there a bit. And then we'll change this up again. Twist your arms so that your fingertips are pointing back toward your knees. And for a lot of you, if you're kind of newer to this, it might feel nice to walk your hands in a little bit more toward the knees. It's fine. Otherwise, keep that more traditional tabletop shape. And then we'll do a few cat-cows here. So draw the tailbone up, lift your ribs, lift your knees, and then exhale, tuck the chin into your chest and round. And then inhale, lengthen the belly, and then exhale as you round. And you can stick with this or see how it feels as you round through the back. You can lift your wrists up, maybe sink your hips toward the heels, and then come back forward and lengthen through the belly, come back into cow. So for me, I also tend to feel this like kind of right around here in my rib cage and upper back. Might be the same for you, might be different, might not even feel like anything. It does take about 3 more rounds of breath here, wherever you're working, if you're just sticking with that tabletop, or you can always come back to it. And then we'll turn the palms to face back around, fingertips toward the front side of your mat. And then we'll give those guys a nice little counter stretch. So if you're new to this, it might feel nice to do one hand at a time, coming onto the back of your hand so the fingernails are down to your mat. And then you can exhale, scrunch your fingers in like you're squeezing a ball. And you can do that one hand at a time or both. And get like a full range of motion, pressing the fingernails down and squeezing that invisible ball. Take 3 more rounds of breath. And then we'll go ahead and bring the fingerprints or fingertips back down. Go ahead and sit over top of your heels. And then take your hands out in front of you. And like you're splashing water, just flick out the hands a few times. And then you can take your hands into fists, just go through a few rolls. And then we'll go ahead and bring your palms back down. And go ahead and send them forward just 1 palm's length, maybe a little bit wider. And then tuck your toes under, lift your knees, come back into downward facing dog. And then press one heel down to your mat, and then the other, just kind of waking up the calves a bit. And then you can even bring the hips over to one side and then the other. And then go ahead and find stillness in your down dog. From here, we'll sweep your right leg back behind you. And then you're gonna come forward just enough. You're gonna tuck your right ankle in front of your left knee. And then come back into your down dog. So you can stick with this if this is feeling really good already, or you might see how it feels to lower your toes in that knee down and sink back a little bit more like a child pose hybrid. So wherever you are, keep reaching your right knee toward the back end of your mat. Nice few deep breaths into your belly. Nice, take 1 more deep breath in. See if you can sink into this a little bit more. Deep breath out through the lips. And then nice and slow, we'll unwind. Keep the bent knee. We'll take this back into your down dog. And just take your knee up high, go through a few circles. You might see how it feels to do a few circles right underneath of the belly. And then go ahead and release that foot down. And then we'll inhale your left leg back behind you. Same thing, bend the knee, come forward a bit. Give yourself some room to tuck that ankle in front of your knee. And then you can scoop the tailbone up and back into your down dog. May ease into it there. Take a few breaths there, and then maybe see how it feels to lower that down to your mat. And then sink the hips back even further. Again, wherever you are, move your left knee toward that back end of your mat. Just deepen this a little bit more. And deep breath into your nose, all the way into your belly. Deep breath out, maybe sink into this a little further. And then nice and easy, we'll go ahead and come back into that down dog with your bent knee. Roll the knee out a few times. Again, if your knee is high, keep lowering your left armpit and hip. And then maybe you take a few rolls or circles right underneath the belly. And then we'll go ahead and lower that foot down. And then just take a walk all the way to the top end of your mat. Clasp opposite elbows, tuck the chin into your chest. Your head a little shake. Sway the torso side to side. Notice if your weight's back into the heels, see if you can draw it forward more into the balls of your feet. Maybe even see if you can lift your heels off of your mat. And then you can scrunch your toes into your mat, almost like you pick it up. Ooh. If you fall forward, your hands are there to catch you. And then let's release your fingers down. Press them into your shins, lengthen the belly, and then kick your shins forward for the low back to lengthen. Take another breath in, and then exhale. Just lower down. Two more like that. Inhale, lengthen through the belly. And just exhale, release down. One more inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. This time press down for your heels, lift all 10 toes. And then drag the hands up the shins, all the way up the front side of the body, rolling all the way up to stand. Sweep the arms all the way up overhead. And just exhale, release the arms down. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. Sweep the arms all the way up. And then exhale, fold, bending the knees as you go. Inhale, lengthen through the belly. And exhale, fold, press down through the heels. Sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale the arms down. One more like that. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Press down through the toes, bend the knees and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, press down through the heels. Sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, release the arms down. This time we'll sweep the arms up. And exhale as you fold. Inhale, step your right leg back behind you. You can leave the fingertips down here, really sink into your right hip, wiggle your toes back as far as you can. Keep pressing your left knee forward, take another breath in, and then exhale, ground down through the palms, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank, come as high onto your big toes as you can, nice and slow, lower down to your mat, get like a pressing away sensation with the palms here to slow your descent. And then press down through the tops of the feet, draw the shoulder blades together, really squeeze those guys, and then draw your belly button up and in as you lift through the chest. Open the throat just a bit. See if you can reach the back of your head away from the shoulder blades. Take another breath in, maybe lift up a little higher. Think of using those back muscles to lift. And exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck your toes under. Your knees can stay down for your low back. Otherwise, maybe keep those guys up. Deep breath in. Keep your chin into your chest. Press your way through plank or your modified plank. And then we'll lift into downward facing dog. Let's inhale your right leg back behind you. Exhale, bend your knee. Tap your right wrist. Keep that low. Think one-legged plank. Inhale as you lengthen back. Exhale, cross it over. Tap your left wrist. Inhale, lengthen back. One more exhale, tap your wrist. We're gonna have some fun here. Shift onto your right palm, lower your left heel down, and then maybe grabbing onto the pinky toe side of your foot. Maybe kick that leg out. And then nice and easy. Let's take that back down into your down dog split, and then just exhale, step the foot in between the thumbs. Maybe wiggle your foot back up there if you need to. Come high onto your blocks if you've got them. And then exhale as you lengthen through your front leg. And then we'll flow here. Inhale as you come back forward. Press into your right foot down and forward to lengthen through your legs. 3 more like that. Inhale as you sink into your left hip, lengthen through the belly. Exhale, fold. Inhale, resink. Exhale as you lengthen. 1 more. Inhale. Lengthen through the belly, sink into your hips. Exhale, fold. And then this time we'll just rebend into your low lunge. And then exhale, step into your forward fold. Press down through your heels, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. And then exhale, release the arms down. We'll come to the other side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, step your left leg back behind you again. Wiggle your toes back as far as you can. Think of pressing your heel back, sink into your left hip. See if you can inch your right knee forward just a little bit more. And then exhale, ground down through the palms, sit back, downward facing dog. And then inhale forward into plank. Even slower than last time. Again, see if you can come onto your big toes. And then slowly lower all the way down to your mat. Now we'll set up for baby cobra. Press down through the tops of the feet so your kneecaps, upper thighs are lifted. Draw your shoulder blades together to open up through your heart. Your nose comes off of your mat to a hover. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck your toes under, tuck your chin into your chest. Breathe in. And then exhale, press your way through plank. And then lift into down doggy and bending into those knees. We'll sweep your left leg back behind you. And then bend your knee. Tap your left wrist. Keep that low. We'll inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, cross it over. Tap your right wrist. Inhale, lengthen. You know where this is going. We'll come back and tap your wrist. And you might stay here, that's fine. Or you might come onto your left palm, lower your right heel down. Maybe grab a hold of the pinky toe edge of your foot, kicking that leg out. And then we'll go ahead and lower your right palm down. Inhale, sweep your left leg back behind you. And then exhale, step your foot all the way in between the thumbs and wiggle your toes back here. Nice long stance for the hips to sink into. Breathe in, come onto your blocks if you need them. Exhale again, press down for that left foot, almost like you want to slide it for the top of your mat. Inhale as you breathe, your hips back down. And then exhale as you lengthen. 3 more. Inhale as you think, lengthen through the belly, widen the collarbones. Exhale, lengthen. 2 more. Breathe in, come forward and down. Exhale, lengthen. Last one. Inhale, sink. Exhale as you lengthen. And then this time we'll inhale, sink back into your low lunge. And then exhale, step into your fold. Press down through your heels, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, release the arms down. Inhale as you sweep the arms up. Exhale again, press down through your toes, bend the knees, come into your fold. And bring your fingertips back to your shins, lengthen through the arms, the belly. Exhale, ground down through the palms, and then we're all gonna step back into plank. Find a little hold here. And then you're gonna rock forward onto maybe just the big toes. It might be the second and third toe too. And then back onto the balls of your feet. And then rock back forward, maybe onto just those big toes. So we're getting into those inner thighs and low core here. 1 more, rock forward. And back. This time you're gonna come onto those big toes. Lower all the way down, maybe stop halfway through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale forward. Inhale up into your back bend of choice. So if you want to elevate your hips, come into upward facing dog. And then tuck your chin into your chest, connect to your core to lift into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to step the feet together. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Breathe in. You're going to begin to breathe out. And then at the end of your exhale, you're going to step, maybe float the feet in between the hands. And then take a breath in, find the Ardha Uttanasana, your halfway lift, and exhale into Uttanasana. From here, let's bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms up. All right. You're gonna look down, make sure your toes are there, that you can really see them beyond your knees. And then let's lift all 10 toes, and then widen your pinky toes down, and then each next toe nice and slow till you get to your big toes. And then you can reopen the throat, lift your gaze, sink the hips down. We want to leave your lumbar curve there, but just support it by bringing your ribs in just a little bit, and then draw your belly button up and in. Breathe in, see if you can reach your arms back behind you. Nice, and then think of your arms stemming from your fingertips all the way down, even past the rib cage, down to your waist. So think one low line through the waist and up. Breathe. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw your belly button up and in. Leave it where it is, sink into the hips. Take another breath in. Strong breath out. One more, breathe in. And then this time, just fold, let go. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, bend your knees for the low back to lengthen. And then exhale, yogi's choice. You can ground down through the palm, step or jump back, moving through your vinyasa. Again, it can be any combination that we've done so far. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And then from here, step your feet back together. We'll do another jump forward, meeting at the top of your mat. So again, we want to spring this back, deep breath in, prepare. Exhale, step, maybe float the feet in between the hands. And then inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, press down through the heels, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, Tadasana. And then let's come back into Utkatasana. Let's shift your weight into your right foot. You're gonna bring your left knee up to hip height. Lower your hands down to your hips. Notice your left hip is probably a little higher. Lower that guy down a little bit. Make sure you can bend into that standing leg. We're gonna open your hip out to the side and then back. Your hip might crack like mine just did. A few more times. Again, just kind of using your own strength to open up that hip. And then back in. Let's go one more. And then we'll sink back down into Utkatasana. We'll come to the other side. Shift your weight onto your left foot. And then we'll rise on up again. Take the L shape of your hands to your hips. Lower that right hip down. And then we'll open up your hip. And then close again just a few times. Again, using your own strength here, just to warm up those hips a little bit. And then let's go one more. And then nice and slow, sink back down into that standing leg. Lower your foot down. And then exhale as you fold. This time, inhale, step your right leg back behind you, maybe keeping your fingertips off of your mat. And then exhale, grounding down through your palms. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. And then exhale, moving through, again, your own vinyasa. Again, if you want to lower all the way down to the belly, maybe take baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale your right leg back behind you. Bend your knee, tap your left wrist. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, tap your right wrist. Inhale, lengthen back. This time we're going to take that foot all the way to the outside of your right hand. Lower your left palm, or keep your left palm onto your mat. Let's take your right arm back behind you. Lower your left knee down. Maybe bending in that leg, reaching for your foot. Even if your hand doesn't reach that foot, get that work in the hamstrings. Keep reaching your heel in toward your bum. You can even fan out that right knee as long as the big toe edge of your foot lifts with it. So this is more about sinking into that left hip, opening up through the right side of the chest. You can always take like a half bind there with that right arm. You can go one more round of breath here. And then nice and easy. Unwind. Let's go ahead and come onto the fingertips. Tuck your left toes under, lift your knee. And keep pressing your left toe back, sink into your right hip. Let's breathe in. Let's look over your right shoulder. Nice. Take one more round of breath here. And then inhale, bring your gaze back forward, and then exhale, step into Malasana. And then we'll take your left arm to the inside of your leg. Press the palm down, bend your elbow to help open up that inner hip. Sweep your right arm back. Keep shifting your weight more into the pinky toe edges of your feet. You might stay here, maybe let's at least take your right arm back behind you. Get a little extra opening there through the right shoulder. And if it's in your practice, you want to go for a full bind here, wrapping that arm in front of the shin. The fingertips might catch. Maybe that hand just comes behind the ankle. Wherever you are, keep pressing the knees apart. Think of widening through the collarbones. And then nice and easy, let's go ahead and unwind. We'll lift the hips into a forward fold, press the fingertips down, slide the heels out, and then shimmy the hips side to side. And then let's step the feet all the way back together. We'll come back into Utkatasana, sink into the hips, bend the knees, draw the arms up. If you've got shoulder things going on today, your palms can always come in front of the heart. Nice. From here, we're gonna do a little balance here. We're gonna do a lot of funky stuff today, so stay with me. Are you surprised? No. All right, tuck your belly button up and in. We're gonna lift your heels to a little tiny hover. And then you're gonna lower the heels down and almost take like a halfway lift here with the arms back, like airplane arms. And then we're having a party. You're gonna throw your confetti up, lift your heels. And then nice and slow, exhale the heels down, come back into that halfway lift with your airplane arms. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale as you sweep the arms up, lift the heels. Exhale as you fold. So all of your weight stays into the balls of the feet here. Inhale as you rise on up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale as you rise up. And then exhale, lower down. We're gonna do one more for good measure because I lost count. I think this is it. All right, and then from here, just exhale, fold all the way down. Let's inhale, step your left leg back behind you, and maybe without using the fingertips. And then exhale, ground down through the palms. Sit back, downward facing dog. And then inhale forward into plank. Coming onto those big toes, lower all the way down, maybe stopping halfway into Chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale, chin into your chest and find downward facing dog. We'll inhale your left leg back behind you, bend your knee, cross it over, tap your right wrist. Inhale as you lengthen back. Exhale, tap your left wrist. One more inhale, lengthen back. We'll come back to that left side, stepping your foot to the outside of your right hand. We'll take a twist here. You can lower that right knee down. Again, lots of variations within each pose. You can stay here. Maybe find a half bind with that left arm. If you want to bend that knee open, lifting the big toe side of your foot. You want to work those hamstrings, tucking the foot in toward your bum. Maybe finding that hand to foot connection. Again, wherever it just feels good for that right hip to sink into, that left side of the chest to open. And then we'll go ahead and release out of that. And come high onto the fingertips. So just like a wider low lunge. Tuck your toes under, lift your knee, and press your heel back. See if you can sink into your right hip a little bit more. We're gonna look over your left shoulder just to deepen that stretch. And then we'll inhale, bring your gaze back forward, and exhale, step back into Malasana. And we'll take that right arm to the inside of your leg, round down through that palm, reach your left arm out. So wherever you go from here, keep those knees out nice and wide. We'll all take that left arm back behind you to start to open up through that shoulder. Probably a nice little counter stretch for all those chaturangas. And you may stay here. You might wind that right arm around for maybe a full bind. Maybe the back of your hand just comes around toward the ankle. Maybe those fingertips catch. Nice, keep spreading the breath across the collarbones. And then nice and easy. We'll unwind, bring the palms together, press your elbows out into your inner thighs. And then squeeze your thighs into your elbows. See if you can drop your tailbone down a little bit, lift the chest, nice long spine. Take another breath in, and then see if you can lift all 10 toes. We're gonna breathe in, bring the palms up overhead. Exhale, press down through the heels, rise all the way up, and then lower the arms down. Step your way back into Tadasana. Let's breathe the arms up. Exhale, press down through your toes and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, ground down through the palms. Again, yogi's choice. Step, maybe jump back. Come back into your back bend as you breathe in. Exhale, chin into your chest. Find downward facing dog. Let's inhale your right leg back behind you. Exhale, step your foot a little bit more behind where the wrists are. Ground down through your left heel. Sweep the arms up into warrior one. And then exhale, open out into warrior two. So widen that stance. Notice if your left hip is high. Lower down, you might need to widen your stance a little bit more. Take the arms out here, and that back arm tends to get a little lazy here. Reach it up. Notice if you're reaching your weight over toward your bent knee, try and keep your shoulders level over top of your hips. Let's flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, and then exhale into extended side angle. Lengthen that arm up alongside of your ear. Nice few rounds of breath here. Notice if you're dumping into your thigh like you're leaning on a counter, so you can shift some weight out of the elbow. You might even thread that arm out, challenging your core, or if you want to deepen that stretch into your inner hip, you might lower the fingertips down toward your mat. And if you're low here and you want to come into maybe a half bind, maybe a full bind, sweeping that arm underneath wherever you are. Make sure that left shoulder stays over top of the right. And then if you've been working this bind a while and you want to work on lengthening through that right leg into like a triangle bind, you can make that a dynamic movement, even if you're just kind of warming up those hamstrings a bit, or maybe settling into that. So always lots of places to go, or even just refining that traditional shape. Taking one more round of breath here wherever you are. And then nice and slow, we'll make your way back up to warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, circle that backhand all the way around and down. We'll come into a twist. Flip your left heel up, right fingertips up toward the ceiling. And then from here, we're gonna walk your right foot around halfway around the side of your mat. So you're a little bit more on a triangular shape. From here, you're going to shift your weight into that foot. See if you can bring your left foot to a hover. Lower that down. See if you can bring your right foot to a hover. And then lower that down. Let's lower your right palm down, set back into plank. And then moving through Vinyasa. We're always welcome to just take a few breaths of rest here in between before we switch sides. Always notice when you need to just slow down a bit to catch your breath. And then from here, let's meet back in downward facing dog. We'll inhale your left leg back behind you. And then think short stance here, setting up for warrior one. Step your foot a little bit more behind your palms. And then lower your right heel down, sweep the arms up into Virabhadrasana one. And then we'll exhale, open out into warrior two. I'm going to rotate this around for you guys. Again, nice long stance to lower your right hip into. Make sure that back arm is in line with the shoulder, even if you need to bring your gaze back there. Keep an eye on that guy. And then we'll flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And then exhale as you come forward into extended side angle. Again, more than welcome just to keep this traditional shape, even if it means just pressing into your feet like you want to stretch your mat apart. Maybe rotating your rib cage under a little bit more. Or if you want to challenge your core, or maybe deepen that inner hip stretch. Again, wherever you want to kind of play around with, you can move through a few different options. We'll be here for a few more rounds of breath, so no rush. And then make these breaths really nice and long. So you can think of your inhales to prepare and exhales to execute. Nice, finishing up with this last round of breath here. And then nice and easy, we'll come back into warrior two. And then flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And then we're gonna set up for that fun twist. Circle your right arm all the way back and around, lift your right heel, sweep your left arm up. So get a lot of support from those right fingertips. And then start to walk your foot, again, only halfway around, creating that like triangular base until your knee or foot come in line with the hips. And then we'll find that shift in the weight. See if you can shift your weight into your right palm, left foot. Lift your right foot to a hover. Lower that down, back it up. See if you can bring your left foot to a hover. Lower that down, lower your left palm down, set back into plank and yogi's choice. Move through vinyasa, or take that back into, again, whatever resting pose of your choice. If you want to do down dog or child's pose. And then let's meet at the top of your mat. We'll bring the feet together. Again, find this spring back. Deep breath in, prepare the bottom of your exhale step. Maybe flip the feet in between the hands. Inhale as you lengthen through the belly. And exhale, fold. From here, widen out the stance of your feet so that two fists can fit right in between the big toes. And then from here, take your fingers around the big toes. And then you're going to help use your thumbs to give yourself a little bit more space to anchor into. You're going to shift your weight into your right foot. And then you're going to see if you can bring your left leg out to the side so that it's parallel to the floor. Maybe you might not be able to lift it that high. Maybe you fall over. Don't worry. No one's watching. All right, and then we'll shift to the other side again. Really anchor your left thumb down. Shift your weight over first. You can draw your belly button up and in. And then you might be able to lift that right leg off, maybe to a diagonal, maybe out to parallel, maybe fall. All right, lower that down, shake that off. All right, this time you can keep that bind around your left big toe. Take your right hand to your hip crease, and then nice and easy, you're gonna pick your leg up into tree pose. So if your foot lowers back down to your calf or maybe up into your inner thigh area, see if you can bring your heel toward the front side of your leg, and then rotating your foot so the toes are kind of curling behind your leg. So just adding a little bit more rotation in for the hip, for your inner hip to open. And then your left hip tends to back up here. Move that guy forward. Whew, don't fall over. All right, and then you're gonna think of moving your knee toward the back wall. So think of creating like one line from that right hip across all the way through your inner left knee. And then wherever the hands want to go, again, this is your practice. So you want the hands behind you, in front, or up overhead. Don't be afraid of a little movement here. Oftentimes we need that to create that balance. You might shift hips forward a little bit here, find a little back bend, maybe lift your gaze, maybe a side bend. And anything goes here. We'll take about 3 more rounds of breath. Again, really lengthen your breath here. All right. And then we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana from here. So lift your foot off of your leg, and then nice and slow, you're gonna reach your arms forward, and then start to extend that leg back behind you while lowering the right shoulder down, working to stack that left side of the body up. Woo, keep that big toe pointing to the top edge of your mat. It's gonna wanna travel over to the left. You fall down, pick this right back up. And then nice and slow, lower all the way down. Woo, into warrior two. I'm gonna rotate this around for you guys. Let's set up for a triangle. So lengthen through your legs. Always more than welcome to shorten your stance a little bit too for triangle. And then start to wrap your inner right thigh down. To shift your hips over to the left. We'll bring your right fingertips down, left fingertips up. And then wherever you've landed, take a breath in, lift the torso up a little higher, and then exhale. You can start to maybe sink into your right hip a little bit more, deepening that stretch. Let's go through a little selfie adjustment. Close your left eye, make sure you get a peek at that guy with your right. So we tend to swing this back arm too much, so just kind of bringing that palm back in front of the chest. You can reopen the eye, of course. Again, always an opportunity just to refine the shape, even stretching your mat apart, drawing the belly button in. Always room to see if you can roll your right rib cage forward a little bit more, maybe even just closing the eyes, lengthening through both sides of the neck. Or if you want to draw one arm alongside your ear, maybe the bottom arm as well. Maybe come back to that traditional shape. Anything goes. All right, this time we're gonna kind of reverse this whole series. You're gonna bring your gaze back down, re-bend into your knee. We're gonna press up into Ardha Chandrasana this time. Deep breath out as you rise on up. And then nice and slow, we're gonna draw your knee into your chest. Woo. Reach the arms up alongside of your ears. This time we're gonna sink down into Garudasana. A lot of work on this standing leg. So that foot might dangle out, might come behind the calf. You're gonna sweep your left arm up, underneath. And then reach your elbows up to shoulder height. And then start to sink down into your hips a little bit more. And then start to draw your elbows in toward your knee, rounding through the upper back. And then wherever your elbows touch, it's fine if they don't meet the knees. Wherever you are, we're gonna try and puff out through your upper rib cage, upper back, a little bit more. And then just nice and slow, unwind back into your forward fold here. Go ahead and shake out that right ankle, anything goes here. We'll take a few breaths into your forward fold. So if you just like opposite elbows, you can even take opposite elbows around the hamstrings. Or if you want to take your peace fingers around the big toes or slide the hands under the feet. Maybe take the time just to close the eyes. You can even breathe through the nose, out through the lips. Keep your weight shifting forward into the toes. Try and get the hips over top of the heels. And then nice and slow, let's ease our way out of that. We'll do all of that on the other side. We're going to take your peace fingers around. You know what, let's do that other thing again first, just to, practice again. All right, we're gonna take both peace fingers around both big toes. And, we'll start shifting your weight onto that left foot first. Again, you're gonna use your thumbs to anchor down into your mat right in front of your big toes. And then shift your weight over, pick up that right leg out to the side. So keeping those long legs. Again, you might just come more like a 45-degree angle. You might be able to get that 90-degree angle. And then lower that down. And then come onto the other side. Notice one side is gonna like this more than the other, right, with everything. And anchor down through that right thumb. Pick up that left leg first, so it's just do a little tiny hover. And then you might be able to swing that leg out toward the side. And then we'll go ahead and release that down. This time we'll release your left hand to your hip, and then nice and easy and steadily lifting that right foot up into tree. Again, you might release that foot back down to your calf, maybe your inner thigh. Again, wherever you're resting the foot, see if you can bring your heel a little bit more toward the front side of your leg, wrapping your toes toward the back. And then realigning up those hips, shift your right hip forward, and then see if you can reach your knee toward the back end of your mat. So again, think like one long line across from your left hip, all the way across, leading right past that inner right knee. And always make sure you're got a little bend to that standing leg. And then again, wherever the arms want to go, maybe playing with different shapes, you can even bring your index fingers and thumbs together, or sort of like a place for your knees to reach through. And always an opportunity to make every pose as restful or as challenging as you're looking for in your practice. And then we'll set up for Ardha Chandrasana. You can always shake out that standing leg in between each of these poses if you need it. But as you're ready, you'll start to bring your arms forward. That right leg's gonna come back and just start to slowly, gradually stack the right side of your body over top. Again, watch that big toe. It's gonna wanna shift over toward the right. Keep it leading toward that top end of your mat. And then slowly float that back into warrior two. And again, I'm gonna switch around for you guys. And then we'll lengthen through that leg. Again, rotate your inner left thigh down, put a little bit more pressure on the big toe sides of your feet to shift your hips over to the right. And we're gonna start with some height here. So your fingertips to the top of your shin bone, right fingertips up, take a breath in, lift just a little higher still. And then think of holding like right into that left hip there. And we'll go through that little selfie adjustment. Close your right eye, just make sure you can catch a peek of that guy into your left. And you can reopen the eye. And always an opportunity to stay here, keep that height here, to rotate the left side of your rib cage under a little bit more. See if you can squeeze your right shoulder blade in toward your spine. Or yeah, if you want to lengthen that arm alongside of your ear, maybe the left as well. And then nice and slow, we're gonna, you know what, come right back into it. Bring your gaze back down. Breathe back into your left knee. It's fine if you need to scoot your back foot in a pace or two for this. Deep breath in right here. Again, exhale to execute. We're gonna press down to lift up. Make sure everything's on. Those right toes are tucked in. And then nice and slow, we're gonna draw the arms up. Start to rotate your hips, everything face back forward. Bring the knee up to hip height. And then again, you're gonna start to squat down into that standing leg. Coming into eagle pose, wrap that right leg over top. Right arm is gonna come underneath. Back of the hands might touch, maybe curl the fingers around. Move your thumbs over toward the right as you bring the elbows up to shoulder height. And then you're gonna sink down into the hips just a little bit more. Draw the belly button up and in, and then start to round through the upper back. So think of stretching right across the shoulder blades, lowering your elbows down. Maybe they touch your knees. Maybe that top knee, maybe even the second. wherever they land. See if you can puff out through the shoulder blades a little bit more. Take another deep breath in, and then long breath out just to unwind back into your forward fold. Again, you can pick up that left leg, shake out your ankle, and again, just fold. Again, anything goes here. Opposite elbows, find the peace fingers around your big toes, hands under the feet. Any inversionists over there if you want to work on your kick-ups. Maybe not. If you've got a significant other there that wants to help create a little cage for you to hop up into. Wherever you are, we'll spend about 3 more rounds of breath here. And then we'll go ahead and release the arms. We'll widen the stance of the feet just a little bit to the outside of the hips. We're going to set up for bird of paradise. Or this can just be a nice forward fold if you don't want to try and work this upright. So we're going to be grounding down through your right foot to start. So you're going to take your left arm down, thread it underneath of your left thigh. Take your right arm up and behind you. Catch your fingertips together. Or if they don't, you can always grab even like a sock or something and grab both ends. And then you can start to walk your right foot underneath of your belly button. Again, this just makes a nice forward fold here, little opening for the chest. Helpful if you're working toward that extended side angle bind. Or you can start to maybe lift your foot up. Work the shoulders over top of the hips, and then maybe work on extending through that leg, keep pressing your hamstrings into the arms, and then nice and slow, start to work your way back down. You made your way up, and then you can shake everything out. It's good to shake everything out in between. If you guys ever notice, like dogs do that all the time, right? And then as you're ready, we'll set it for that other side. So again, give yourself a little bit more space, widen your feet a little bit, and then we'll take that right arm underneath of you. And then rotate the left side of your chest open. Take that arm all the way back behind you. Again, maybe those fingertips touch. Maybe you've got a little extra prop there to use. And then we'll start to walk your left foot underneath your belly button. And you're more than welcome just to work this fold. Or if you're up for the challenge, you want to try and bring this situation upright. Maybe those hamstrings want to lengthen, maybe not. And then nice and slow. Lower back down. Again, shake it out. And then from here, we're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Or not, the big toe sides of your feet together. Walk everything over to your left. We're going to sit up over top of the heels. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and attach your thumbs right to your sternum and start to take a spin out to your right using your belly button. And then we'll challenge ourselves, go the other way. Breathe in, come back to center. And then exhale over to your right. I know these things are not for everyone, so if there's something else that you want to practice that's different than I'm cueing, we are going to come into Parshvottanasana or side crow. We're also going to play around if you've been doing this a while and you want to work on kind of adding some other things into this, doing some EPK work with this too. So you're going to ground your palms down into the side of your mat. You really want to start to deepen your twist as much as you can. So look at your knees, move them over to the left even more. And then you're going to take your left hand so that your palm is up, bend the elbow, bring it into your thigh, and then slide it down toward your hip as far as you can. Really anchor that elbow, press it into your thigh, and then you're gonna turn your palm to face back down. Put it down onto your mat. Widen your right hand down. You wanna think shoulder width apart here. And then you're gonna start to shift your elbows over top of your wrists. Bring your gaze forward, 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 and then down, 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 down. And then maybe that left foot lifts off, maybe your right. So you might be working on that. Or if you wanna try and work this into EBK 2, then you're gonna extend your top leg back behind you first. And then maybe start to extend your right leg out. If you want to turn this into EBK 1, you're going to bend the knees and then see if you can bring your left knee over top and then extend your legs out from there. And I'll do that from this side just for you guys trying that. You can get maybe a better visual on that with what I'm doing with my knees, transition between those two. So again, I'm going to set up for my Vinyasa, and then I'll split the legs for EBK 2, and then to go into EBK 1, I'm going to take my top knee, bring it to my tricep, and then split my legs out. That's a lot of work, guys. All right. And then we'll go ahead and switch to the other side. Like I said, you guys are more than welcome to just take a seated pose. If you want to open up your hips, do fire log, or if you like a twist, and anything goes. I know these types of things are not for everyone. All right, so we'll start that on the other side. Again, it's all about the twist here first. So look at your knees and think of shifting them over toward the right. And again, it's kind of about the placement of your flesh and where your bones are inside the flesh. So take your right palm to face up, bend the elbow, tuck it into your hip, and then you're going to slide it down even further and then dig your flesh into your thigh. And then you're going to turn the right palm down, place it onto your mat, widen your left palm a little bit more. And again, this is about the elbows stacking over top of the wrists. Your face is going to be really low to the floor here versus regular Vinyasa. All right, and then maybe that right foot might lift. Maybe your left, you'll notice one side twists more than the other. So one side is going to be a little easier than the other. And I know some of you, again, are working for these transitions also. So for EBK 2, you might work on just splitting that back leg back. You might be able to get that top leg to lengthen as well. And then for that second transition, this one is a little tough here. You're going to try and bring, I'll rotate this one around a little bit more so you can see where like my knees are going. You're going to come back into that side crow. Take your top knee, bring it all the way up towards your armpit, and you might fall down off of that. So you really want to press that knee down and think of lifting your left hip. Lift that left leg out, maybe split. Maybe do that. All right. I think that's enough of that. All right. Let's go ahead and come down to just an easy seat. With your legs out in front, we'll take Paschimottanasana. So just sitting up nice and tall. Tuck your toes in toward your knees so that your kneecaps lift. And then we'll sweep the arms up alongside of your ears. And then press down through your heels, almost like you want to scoot forward. All right, and then you're going to bring your belly button toward your knees. Get that nice fold into that frontal hip crease area. Take your peace fingers around the big toes so that the thumbs are up. Bend the elbows out toward the sides. And we're going to do a little something with the feet here. You're going to keep pulling your feet toward you, but press the big toe mounds of your feet away from you. So for some of you, you might feel a little release in the low back, maybe not. Take another breath in, and then just exhale. Curl the chin into your chest, but get that sensation, that kind of pull and pressing of the feet and the fingers at the same time. So this should overall feel pretty restful for the entire backside of the body. But if this is digging into your hamstrings and your low back, you can just come out of this a little bit more, or maybe bend the knees in a little bit more. And then you can even start to sway the head side to side. And then just release the breath out through the lips. You can sip it in through the nose. And nice and easy, go ahead and roll all the way back up. And then we'll just get right to it. It is time. You're a little carried away with all those arm balances. All right, we're going to point the toes away from you, reach the arms out to a hover. So nice and tall, nice long spine. And then exhale, start to wrap the ribs in, chin into your chest, lower all the way down to your mat. And feel free to take any other last shape here that your own body needs to cool down. Otherwise, we will get right into it. You can take a deep breath in through your nose, spreading out the arms and legs with the palms of the face open, and exhale into Shavasana. And use that breath to reawaken your body. So wherever in the body feels natural for you that you want to move right now. A lot of times we cue you to start with the fingers and toes, but if it feels more natural to start with your neck. And wherever you're feeling tension in the body, wherever you need a little bit more breath right now. And then eventually making your way through all those little joints, the wrists and the fingers. And then let's all take the arms up overhead and then reach the fingers and toes away from one another. Allow the back to arch away from your mat. And then exhale, bending in one knee and then the other. Come to rest onto the right side of your body. And then keeping the eyes closed, make your way up into an easy upright seat. And then let's meet with the palms together in front of your heart. And just taking this breath to acknowledge your practice and where it is today. And to thank your body for all it's able to do for you today. With that, let's breathe the thumbs into your third eye and bow forward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your practice.